Hello, lovely friends out there. I am your host, Edwin Sunny, the creator, the star maker, singer, and admin of various YouTube channels. Welcome, and also social media influencer. And I welcome to all about this video on this channel, Sunny GK World, especially meant for the people of the world who are very, very keen and very, very worried about getting more and more knowledge day by day. That's why I have created this beautiful channel in simple words, in simple way. It dictates the terms. That's the thing. That's the quality of our channel. I love my all international friends around the globe from Italy, America, Canada, France, Paris, Russia, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and rest of the places in Europe and Africa. In today's video, before starting, this is the point. Once again, I remind that you have to click on the subscribe, that red color subscribe button, bell icon, that is small bell icon, this is notification bell, and like button. After clicking these three buttons, you have to share the video and this channel link on WhatsApp groups, Facebook, Telegram, Instagram groups, and on Threads. Our videos also.
It offers an incredible combination of history, art, architecture, natural beauty, and culture. From ancient Roman ruins to Renaissance masterpieces and breathtaking coastal landscapes, Italy attracts millions of visitors every year. The country is famous for its historic cities, scenic countryside, dramatic mountains, and charming seaside villages. Travelers can explore famous landmarks, enjoy world-class cuisine, and experience unique regional traditions. Below is an explanation of Italy's most famous destinations, regions, and the best time to visit. Rome, Eternal City. Living Rome, the capital of Italy, is often called the Eternal City because of its long and influential history. Founded more than 2,700 years ago, it was once the center of the Roman Empire, which controlled much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. One of Rome's most famous landmarks is the Colosseum, an enormous ancient amphitheater built nearly 2,000 years ago where gladiators once fought for public entertainment. Nearby are the ruins of the Roman Forum, which was the political and social center of ancient Rome. Another iconic attraction is the Trevi Fountain, a magnificent Baroque fountain where visitors traditionally toss a coin to ensure they will return to Rome someday. Within the city lies Vatican City, the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church and home to St. Peter's Basilica and the Sistine Chapel, famous for Michelangelo's ceiling paintings. Rome combines ancient ruins with modern life, offering museums, churches, lively squares, and delicious Italian cuisine. Florence, the heart of the Renaissance. Image. Florence is considered the birthplace of the Renaissance, culture by classical art, sung to 17th centuries. The city is famous for its artistic heritage and stunning architecture. The most recognizable building is the Florence Cathedral, also known as the Duomo, with its massive red dome designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. This architectural masterpiece dominates the skyline of Florence. Another major attraction is the Uffizi Gallery, one of the most important art museums in the world. It contains works by legendary artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, and Michelangelo. Florence also features the Ponte Vecchio, a historic bridge lined with shops that cross the Arno River. The city's streets, churches, and museums make it one of the best places in the world to explore Renaissance art and culture. Venice, the city of canals. Image Venice is one of the most unique cities on Earth. Built on more than 100 small islands in Italy, the city has no roads. Instead, transportation takes place through canals. The most famous waterway is the Grand Canal, which winds through the city and is lined with beautiful historic palaces. Visitors often explore Venice by riding gondolas, traditional wooden boats steered by gondoliers. The heart of Venice is St. Mark's Square, where visitors can see the magnificent St. Mark's Basilica and the historic Doge's Palace. Once once the residence of the rulers of the Venetian Republic. Another famous landmark is the Rialto Bridge, one of the oldest and most iconic bridges crossing the Grand Canal. Venice is famous for its romantic atmosphere, historic architecture, and annual Venice Carnival, where people wear elaborate masks and costumes. Amalfi Coast, Italy's scenic coastline image. The Amalfi Coast is one of Italy's most spectacular coastal regions. Located in southern Italy along the Mediterranean Sea, it is famous for its steep cliffs, colorful villages, and stunning sea views. One of the most famous towns on the coast is Positano, known for its pastel-colored houses built on cliffs overlooking the sea. The narrow streets are filled with shops, restaurants, and cafes. Another beautiful destination is Ravello, located high above the coastline. It is known for its peaceful gardens and breathtaking panoramic views of the sea. The Amalfi Coast is a popular destination for relaxation, photography, and scenic drives along winding coastal roads. Tuscany, vineyards, and historic canals. Image Tuscany, one of the most picturesque regions of Italy. It is famous for its rolling hills, vineyards, olive groves, and medieval towns. The region is particularly known for producing world-famous wines such as Chianti. Visitors often travel through the countryside, visiting vineyards, tasting wines, and enjoying traditional Italian food. One of Tuscany's most beautiful cities is Siena, famous for its medieval architecture, the Piazza del Duomo, a large central square where the historic carnival horse race takes place twice each year. Tuscany offers a peaceful atmosphere and beautiful landscapes, making it a favorite destination for both scenic culture and nature. Cinque Terre, colorful seaside villages image. The Cinque Terre, meaning five lands, consists of five small seaside villages located along the rugged coastline of northwestern Italy. The villages are Monterosso, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola, Riomaggiore. Each village is built along cliffs facing the sea and is known for its brightly colored houses. Visitors can travel between the villages by train, boat, or hiking trails that offer spectacular views of the Mediterranean Sea. The area is also known for its seafood, vineyards, and peaceful coastal atmosphere. Other famous destinations in Italy. Besides the cities and regions above, Italy has many other remarkable places to visit. Milan is Italy's financial and fashion capital. It is famous for the magnificent Milan Cathedral, Duomo da Milano, and for being a center of global fashion. Pompeii, near the city of Naples, is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. The ancient Roman city was buried under volcanic ash after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, preserving buildings, streets, and artifacts for nearly 2,000 years. Lake Como, located in northern Italy, is known for its stunning scenery, elegant villas, and peaceful lakeside towns. The Dolomites, the Alps in northern Italy, are famous for dramatic mountain peaks, hiking trails, skiing resorts, and breathtaking landscapes. The best time to visit Italy. The best time to visit Italy depends on the type of travel experience a visitor wants. The shoulder seasons being spring, April to June, and autumn, September to October, are generally considered the best times to visit. During these months, the weather is pleasant, temperatures are comfortable, and tourist crowds are smaller compared to the peak summer season. Spring brings blooming flowers and lively festivals, while autumn offers beautiful scenery and harvest celebrations in wine regions like Tuscany. Summer, July, and August is the busiest time in Italy, with large tourist crowds and very warm temperatures, especially in cities such as Rome and Florence. Winter is quieter and ideal for visiting museums and historic cities, while the Alps and Dolomites present an extraordinary variety of experiences for travelers. Visitors can explore ancient Roman ruins in Rome, admire Renaissance art in Florence, ride gondolas through the canals of Venice, or enjoy the scenic beauty of the Amalfi Coast and Cinque Terre. Regions like Tuscany provide peaceful countryside landscapes and world-class vineyards, while places such as Lake Como and the Dolomites offer stunning natural scenery. Italy is one of the most historically significant countries in the world. Located in southern Europe, it has played a major role in shaping Western civilization, politics, culture, art, science, and religion. From the rise of the Roman Empire to the Renaissance and modern European integration, Italy's history reflects a long journey of power, transformation, and cultural influence. Half geography and location image. Italy is a boot-shaped country located in the center of the Mediterranean Sea in southern Europe. It covers an area of about 301 Vatican City and San Marino are located. In Italian territory. Italy also includes several islands, the largest being Sicily and Sardinia. The capital city of Italy is Rome, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The country's geography includes mountains, plains, rivers, and coastlines, which historically influenced settlement patterns, trade, and political divisions. Had the early history of Italy imaged between the 9th century BC and the 6th century AD, Italy was inhabited by several different ancient peoples and cultures. Phoenicians, skilled maritime traders in the Eastern Mediterranean, established colonies in Sicily and Sardinia. Greeks settled in southern Italy and created colonies known collectively as Magna Graecia, Greater Greece. These cities became centers of Greek culture, philosophy, and trade. Celts occupied much of northern Italy. Etruscans, an advanced civilization, dominated central Italy. They developed cities, architecture, engineering techniques, and cultural traditions that strongly influenced later Roman civilization. These different cultures laid the foundation for the political and cultural development of Italy before the rise of Rome. Rise of the Roman Kingdom and Republic. Image according to Roman tradition. The city of Rome was founded in 753 BC by legendary figures Romulus and Remus. Initially, Rome was ruled by 7 kings, many of whom were believed to be of Etruscan origin. In 509 BC, the Roman people overthrew the last king and established the Roman Republic. The Republic was governed through a political system involving the Senate, elected officials such as consuls, assemblies representing Roman citizens. The state was symbolized by the phrase SPQR, Solus Romanus, meaning the Senate and people of Rome. Over several centuries, Rome expanded rapidly through military conquest and diplomacy. By the 2nd century BC, the Roman Republic controlled most of Italy, large parts of Western Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East. Rome became the dominant power of the Mediterranean world. The Roman Empire. Image, political instability eventually weakened the Roman Republic. In 44 BC, the Roman general and dictator Julius Caesar was assassinated. This event triggered a series of civil wars. 27 BC, Caesar's adopted son Augustus became the first Roman emperor, marking the beginning of the Roman Empire. Under imperial rule, Rome reached an extraordinary level of power and influence. Italy became the center of administration, culture, and economy for the empire. The empire reached its greatest territorial extent during the reign of Emperor Trajan, 98 to 117 AD. At this time, it stretched from Britain in the west, North Africa in the south, the Middle East in the east. Roman achievements included engineering and architecture, roads, aqueducts, amphitheaters, development of law and governance, spread of language and Roman culture. However, beginning in the 3rd century AD, the empire started experiencing decline due to political instability, economic difficulties, and external invasions. Fall of the Western Roman Empire. In 395 AD, the Roman Empire was permanently divided into 2 parts. 1. Western Roman Empire, centered in Rome. 2. Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople. The Western Roman Empire faced continuous attacks from Germanic tribes. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Western Roman Emperor Romulus Augustulus was overthrown by the Germanic leader Odoacer. This event traditionally marks the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Odoacer then declared himself the king of Italy. This environment eventually gave birth to the Renaissance, a cultural movement that began in Florence in the 14th century and spread across Europe. The Renaissance marked a revival of classical learning, art, science, and creativity. Italy became the center of remarkable achievements in painting, architecture, sculpture, literature, science, philosophy. Great figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo emerged during this. However, by the late 15th century, Italy became a battleground for foreign powers during the Italian Wars, where France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire fought for control of the region. After these wars, much of Italy fell under the influence of the Habsburg dynasty. Napoleonic era and the road to unification. In 1796, the French leader Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Italy. Several Italian states were reorganized under French control, century, the Italian unification movement, known as the Risorgimento, aimed to unite the various states into one nation. Key figures included Giuseppe Garibaldi, Count Camillo d'Agor, King Victor Emmanuel II. In 1861, most Italian territories united to form the Kingdom of Italy. Further expansion continued. 1866, Italy annexed Venice after allying with Prussia against Austria. In 1870, Italy captured Rome, ending papal rule and completing national unification. Rome became the capital of the unified Italian state. Fascist Italy and World War II. After World War I, Italy faced serious economic difficulties, unemployment, and social unrest. Although Italy had been on the winning side, it did not receive all the territories promised by the Allies. This led many Italians to describe the outcome as a mutilated victory. These conditions helped the rise of Benito Mussolini and the Fascist Party. In 1922, Mussolini gained power after the march on Rome and established a dictatorship. Fascist Italy aimed to restore the glory of the Roman Empire. Key events during Mussolini's rule included 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia. 1939, Italy annexed Albania. 1940, Italy joined World War II on the side of Nazi Germany. However, Italy suffered military defeats. In 1943, after the Allied invasion of Sicily, Mussolini was removed from power. Germany then occupied northern Italy and created a puppet state called the Italian Social Republic under Mussolini. Italian resistance fighters, along with Allied forces, fought against German and fascist troops. In April 1945, Mussolini was captured and executed. Shortly afterward, German forces in Italy surrendered. Birth of the Italian Republic and modern Italy. In 1946, a national referendum was held to decide the future of Italy's government. The people voted to abolish the monarchy, and Italy became a republic. During the late 1950s and early 1960s, Italy experienced rapid industrial growth known as the Italian Empire. This period transformed Italy into one of the Italy also became an important member of the international NATO, European Coal and Steel Community, European Union. Today, Italy is known for its strong economy, cultural heritage, and global influence in art, fashion, cuisine, and tourism. It is one of the most visited countries in the world, with historic cities such as Rome, Florence, and Venice attracting millions of tourists every year. Italy's history spans more than 3,000 years and includes the rise of the Roman Empire, the birth of the Renaissance, struggles for national unity, and participation in major global conflicts. Despite periods of decline and political turmoil, Italy has remained a central force in shaping Western civilization. Today, as a democratic republic and a key member of the European Union, Italy continues to influence global culture, politics, and economics. If you want, I can also help you with a
Uzbekistan, ancient history, warm hospitality, and everyday affordability come together in a way that feels almost unreal to many travelers. Once a vital part of the legendary Silk Road, Uzbekistan has for centuries connected east and west, and that legacy still shapes its culture, architecture, and people today. The story of Uzbekistan begins thousands of years ago, when great cities like Samarkand, Bokhara, and Khiva rose from the desert sands as centers of trade, science, and art. Merchants carrying silk, spices, gold, and ideas passed through these cities, making them some of the most important hubs in the world. Samarkand, often called the Pearl of the East, was famously developed by the conqueror Emir Timur Tamerlane in the 14th century. He turned it into a grand capital filled with stunning mosques, madrasas, and mausoleums, many of which still stand today with their dazzling blue tiles and intricate designs. Walking through Registan Square in Samarkand feels like stepping into a living painting. The towering madrasas, covered in geometric patterns and shimmering mosaics, reflect the brilliance of Islam. Kara, the old city, is so well preserved that it feels like time has paused. Narrow streets, ancient minarets, and bustling bazaars tell stories of traders and scholars who once shaped the intellectual life of the region. Khiva, another historic city, is like an open-air museum, with its mud brick walls and perfectly preserved buildings enclosed within ancient fortifications. But Uzbekistan is not just about history, it is also about its people, who are widely known for their kindness and hospitality. Uzbek culture places great importance on welcoming guests. It is common for locals to invite visitors into their homes, offering tea, bread, and traditional meals with genuine warmth. The people are diverse in appearance, reflecting centuries of cultural exchange along the Silk Road. You will see a mix of Central Asian, Persian, and even East Asian features, all blending into a unique and beautiful identity. Many visitors are struck not just by physical beauty, but by the genuine smiles and respectful nature of the people. Traditional Uzbek clothing adds to this charm. Brightly colored fabrics, embroidered patterns, and handcrafted designs are still worn, especially during festivals and celebrations. Women often wear flowing dresses made from ikat fabric, while men may wear embroidered caps known as dapi. These cultural elements give everyday life a vibrant and artistic feel. One of the most surprising aspects of Uzbekistan for many travelers is how affordable it is. Compared to many countries, the cost of living and travel here is remarkably low. A hearty traditional meal, such as plav, a rice dish cooked with meat, carrots, and spices, might cost only a few dollars in local restaurants. Fresh bread, known as naan, is both delicious and inexpensive, often baked in clay ovens and sold in local markets for a very low price. Transportation is also affordable. High-speed trains connect levels of life. Some are born different. Some become extraordinary through their choices, and some remain mysteries, leaving behind stories that no one can fully explain. This is not just a list of unique people. This is their story, woven together across time, continents, and reality itself. The gathering of the unusual. In a quiet, almost forgotten museum hidden somewhere between Europe and Asia, there stood a hall called the Gallery of Human Wonders. It was not open to the public. There were no tickets, no advertisements, and no official records of its existence. But every few years, something strange happened. The people who were considered different by the world somehow found their way there. No one invited them. They just arrived. The man with the last skin. Gary Turner stood in front of a mirror, gently pulling the skin of his neck outward. It stretched far beyond what seemed possible, almost like rubber. Most people would have called it strange, even frightening. But Gary had lived his whole life with it. A rare condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome made his skin incredibly elastic. As he stood in the gallery, he noticed others around him, people who looked just as different in their own ways. For the first time, he didn't feel like the odd one. The world's smallest woman. Near a large wooden display case stood Jodi Amj. At just over 2 feet tall, she had spent her life looking up, literally and figuratively, at a world built for people much bigger than her. But here, in this strange gathering, no one looked down on her. Gary smiled and waved. Jodi smiled back. And in that moment, size didn't matter at all. The man had one giant arm. A heavy wooden table creaked as Matthias Schlitt rested his arm on it. One arm, massive, powerful, and far larger than the other. A result of Klippel-Trenaunay syndrome, his condition made him look unbalanced, but also made him one of the strongest arm wrestlers in the world. Looks like I finally found someone who can compete with me, Jeff said. Matthias smirked. Only one way to find out. The two men shook hands, if you could even call it that, and for a moment their differences turned into strength, not limitation. The man of many fingers. In the corner of the room, Devendra Sutar carefully examined the wooden sculpture. His hands were unlike any others, extra fingers, perfectly formed, moving with precision. What others once saw as abnormal, he had turned into skill. As a carpenter, his hands allowed him to create designs no one else could replicate. Your hands are not strange, a voice behind him said. He turned to see a man sketching quietly, Leonardo da Vinci. They are advanced. The man with protruding eyes. Suddenly, a small crowd gathered. Sidney de Carvalho Mesquita stood calmly as people watched in amazement. He simply pushed his eyes outward, far beyond what seemed humanly possible. Gas filled the room, but Sidney simply smiled. Everyone has something, he said. This just happens to be mine. And oddly enough, no one laughed. Because in that room, no one was normal enough to judge. The hair covered mystery. From the shadows stepped a figure that looked almost mythical. His entire body was covered in thick hair, face, arms, everything. Known in history as the Wolf Man, he was once feared, misunderstood, even treated as something less than human. But here no one stepped back. Jody walked up to him and said softly, "You must have been very lonely." The Wolf Man nodded. "Yes, until now." The traveler in leather. The doors creaked open again. A man walked in wearing nothing but handmade leather clothing, worn, stitched, and weathered by time. The Connecticut Leatherman. For years, he walked a 365-mile route across the United States and Canada, living the same cycle over and over again. No one knew why. No one knew his real story. "Why did you keep walking?" Gary asked. The Leatherman paused, because stopping felt stranger than continuing. The woman who was never found. Suddenly, the screen flickered to life. Grainy footage appeared, one of the most famous moments in history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And there, in the background, stood a mysterious woman holding a camera, the Babushka lady. She filmed everything, and then disappeared. No identity, no explanation. And now she was here. "Why did you never come forward?" someone asked. She looked around the room, her face unreadable. Some stories are more powerful when they remain unanswered. The people who lived differently. In another section of the gallery, two groups stood quietly observing. The Maasai and Hadza people. While the modern world rushed toward technology, speed, and complexity, they had preserved something ancient, balance with nature. They hunted, gathered, lived simply, yet deeply. A man from the group spoke. "You call us different, but once everyone lived like this." The room was silent, because for the first time the idea of normal began to feel questionable. The genius beyond time. Leonardo da Vinci stood at the center of it all, sketching constantly. Flying machines, human anatomy, strange inventions centuries ahead of their time. How can one person do so much? Jody asked. Leonardo smiled. "Curiosity," he replied. "The moment you stop accepting limits, you become something else entirely." The man who fooled the world. In the corner, a quiet man observed everything carefully. Juan Puyol Garcia, a double agent during World War II. He had deceived the Nazis with false information, so convincingly that both sides honored him. A hero and a liar. "Which one were you?" Gary asked. Juan smiled slightly. "Sometimes being both is what saves the world." The realization. As the night passed, something became clear. These people were not gathered because they were strange. They were gathered because they represented something deeper. Different ways of being human. Some showed the extremes of the body. Some showed the extremes of the mind. Some showed the mysteries of history. And some showed paths humanity had forgotten. Gary looked around the room. "For so long, I thought I was alone." "You were never alone," Mira-like voice echoed in the silence of the hall, though no one knew where it came from. Just rare. The final truth. As dawn approached, the gallery began to fade. One by one, the people disappeared. Worlds, their own timelines, their own stories, but they carried something with them. Understanding that being different is not a flaw, it is a variation of existence. A reminder that humanity is not one shape, one size, one way of thinking. It is a spectrum, stretching from the smallest woman to the strongest arm, from the most mysterious figure to the greatest genius. And somewhere, hidden from the ordinary world, the gallery of human wonders still waits for the next group of people who don't fit in. Because sometimes, unique people on Earth are not the ones who stand out, but the ones who quietly redefine what it means to be human.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you love this video. Before leaving the video, I request you once again to hit the subscribe button and like this video and share this video link and the link for the channel on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So that other friends can say so later. Thank you so much. Keep loving the world and keep supporting.